Okay, we're going to go to Keith Rouda. He is the online member engagement director of the progressive movement. He's been in politics for some time, also in the private sector. Now he's organizing. Keith, first of all, thank you for your patience. We got behind today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure to be here.
Now, let's get to the progressive movement that basically Bernie Sanders took up in his campaign, his so-called political revolution before he basically sold out to the Clintons. Where is the progressive movement going now in the Clinton campaign?
Well, I think that we are, we're looking for the Clinton campaign to be keeping the volume high on progressive issues, on economic populist issues like debt-free college, expanding Social Security, Wall Street reform, breaking up the big banks, holding corporate executives accountable, when they break the law, and things like that.
I guess the rub here, Keith, is that everything that Bernie talked about, Clinton embodies the exact opposite of it. She's a crony capitalist. She's a warmonger. She's for intervening in all these states. She is not for breaking up the banks. She's a creature of big money, Wall Street globalist bundlers. She can say that she's against TPP, but she was the author of it before Bernie made her change her position. And so it's like you guys threw in with her, and I don't really get where you're going with this, because she embodies everything that Bernie was railing against. So I don't get how you're comfortable in her camp other than she's better than the other guy.
Sure. I think, there's a lot there. First of all, as the Progressive Change Campaign Committee, we didn't endorse in the primaries. We haven't endorsed in the election. But we're faced with, I think you were just saying, shortly a while ago, there's a binary election coming up. There are really two choices that are viable, and that's going to be Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I don't think that Hillary is the polar opposite of Bernie Sanders, certainly not as much as Donald Trump would be. And if you listen to what Hillary has said over the last year since the primaries started in earnest and they began doing the debates and things, she has come around to a lot of pretty progressive positions. She has been talking about expanding Social Security benefits. She has been talking about debt-free college. With the college affordability issue, Bernie and Hillary had two different methodologies for getting to essentially the same place. They've kind of merged those into a common agreement that they're both comfortable with, so that people up to a certain income level would be able to go to college tuition-free, but everybody would be able to go to college debt-free. That's enormous for American families today because we're in a very populist era. We're in a time where people are looking at bread and butter issues, where the discussion around the kitchen table is how are they going to pay for their children to go to college? How are they going to be able to retire with dignity? Are they going to be able to keep their jobs? Are they going to be able to get new jobs?
Okay, one question I got to roll. We got $20 trillion in debt. How are you going to pay for free college for everybody?
Sure. I think the funding mechanism that they're looking for that is by looking at making sure that the rich people that are in this country, and there are a lot, are paying their fair share. You've got a situation where corporations, millionaires, billionaires are not paying, in all cases, their fair share of taxes. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. There's a lot of money that's overseas that needs to be repatriated, that is just being held out there. But basically, when you've got the situation that Warren Buffett talks about, where his tax rate is lower than his secretary's, that's not right. There's a lot of money that's available that can be brought into the system without affecting the economy in any kind of a bad way.
Okay, so Trump rolled an economic tax plan out 2 days ago, closing the loophole for what you just said, which is those carrying over the interest credit on capital gains as if it's not income taxed at the lower level. He also laid out a plan for repatriation, as you just said, for the money to come back to the United States. Obviously, you're not for that. Clinton has no plan to address either of those, so why wouldn't you guys be for Trump?
Well, I think those two issues, while they're important, those are not the only issues out there. The carried interest loophole, it's important. It's something we should close almost as a moral victory, as opposed, as much as anything else, because the number of people who actually take advantage of that particular loophole, there's a lot of money there, but it's a relatively few number of people. A couple of people on Wall Street. But when you look at capital gains tax rates compared to other income tax rates, there's a whole lot of money available there. And you just need to look at, the fact that, millionaires and billionaires have a whole range of ways, and loopholes of lowering their tax rate, well below, in often cases, their secretaries. So I think if that whole system is tightened up, then it puts a lot of money into the system. But, college affordability, and when we talk about debt-free college, it's not just about the funding mechanism. There are a lot of instances where the ways that colleges and universities are spending money and what's going into tuition costs can be lowered also.
Oh, you got that right. Just in Virginia, we got a $2.1 billion slush operating fund that a couple of legislators are trying to get under. I want to thank Keith Rouda for being with us. Keith, I respect your opinion. Keep fighting for what you believe in. We'll have you back on as things get down. Thanks for being with us.